An RPG lives and dies by its premise. Its world, its lore, its characters are all almost as important as parts of its gameplay, right? If a primary game loop is the foundation of every game, then its world building is the framing, right? Granted, not all games need extensive world building, but RPGs rely on them heavily since the story is the thing that gets the player involved, invested. So I need to make sure I take as much care as possible to nail down what kind of world I'm creating. If the premise is off, then the world as a whole quickly falls apart and the game feels like anything else. And after all, there's a million hack and slashes, 1,000 Dark Souls clones, and an untold number of fantasy games. So if there's any place that I'm going to need help for critique, it's probably here. But nonetheless, here goes nothing. Alright, so we'll start in a world, much like our own. However, there are 3 major exceptions. The first exception is that in this world, there are people with powers based on spirits that reside in them. These people are called enchanters. Some people get control over the elements, some become healers or experts in a chosen field, but most just get really strong. Sorry guys. Under certain circumstances, these spirits can become awakened, granting their users incredible abilities, on top of looking up the spirit that possessed them, of course. Now, these awakenings can be quite physically exhausting, and taking advantage of the awakening comes at the risk of turning the user crazy if they don't have the right training. And because of these risks, some enchanters don't even seek to become awakened. And these enchanters are called Noji. The second major exception piggybacks off the first. Magic, as in spells, is real. However, it must be crafted by enchanters. Essentially, enchanters, being possessed by spirits, have access to innate magical forces and human technology. This has birthed the recent innovation of magical cards. Primarily, these magical cards are created by Noji for the use of enchanters, so they don't always have to depend on their inner strength. That being said, they're not always used for combat. They go out in a single use, but being crafted by those who do nothing but store up their magical potential means that they can be incredibly strong if crafted correctly. These types of spells depend on their creator, as some Noji have spells that they enjoy crafting, and some have honed their skills in crafting over the years to make real bangers. However, unbeknownst to most, and either due to propaganda against their use, cultural ties separating enchanters and non-enchanters, or just straight up making their use illegal, normal humans can actually use these spell cards, and some of those humans are not a fan of the current world order. Last, and least for this list, is spirits. There are spirits that exist in corporeal form. These spirits are known as walking spirits. Unlike monsters that are essentially just really strong animals, walking spirits are often cognitive beings that are not born in a natural way and do not die of old age. Walking spirits are born from any number of realms, including our own. Walking spirits often try to stay away from humans as they don't always have control of their magic. They tend to split into their own castes based on the birth realm, and are living gods to some, normal beings to most, and abominations to a few. Alright, now it's time to zoom in to our small corner of the globe. And we hit the island of Grimani with 3 notable nations: Conch, Kasi, and Tornasia. We start off with Conch, a recently liberated republic with most of its former elite segregating themselves on the frontier. A long history of horrible mismanagement by ruling lords, a pointless, costly war, and a massive famine led the people to seek a new rule. And after a bloody uprising, the lords surrendered. Now these former lords seek to establish a new land along Conch's neighborhood to the northeast. And it's these very elites, their servants, followers, and others who are responsible for raiding nearby territory. And while Conch has begun to crack down on its behavior, for the people living on the frontier, it's simply the same ruler with a different color. Secondly, we've got Tornado. It's less a country and more a group of nomadic tribe people in the mountains. These tribe people are fiercely loyal to their old ways and often move between their holy and hunting sites depending on what their religious head dictates. The lands they were once free to roam were massive, stretching from the mountain through the forests and into the sea. This of course changed when Kasi grew and conquered or convinced most of the people in the valley to become part of their new nation state. And while some of these tribes don't mind sacrificing their independence for growth and progress, it has led some of their holy sites to become tourist attractions. And as you could probably guess, there's likely a lot of people who aren't exactly happy with that. And finally, Kasi, where most of our story will take place. The one city state of Radiance expanded by way of intelligent leadership, the complete devotion of its people, and innovation in terms of military and trade. However, in recent years, their corruption has increased as well. Judges occasionally vie for their own states. The Navy and the military are too caught up in their petty nonsense to protect external trade, and the state's council members are often too busy advancing their own financial interests and not the interests of the people. Their government has not evolved with their rapid growth, and now they face raids from the south, as well as a populace that has grown disillusioned and upset. And after seeing the neighbors' demand for change, they started to think the same may be possible for them next. Now, obviously, there are other important aspects to this world. Cultural and military history, trade, economics, languages, classes, castes, religion, and even clothing all need to be explored, and I've explored most of them. But they're not important to discuss, at least for this video. Even things like, important things like, who are our characters? Where are they going? Who are they? What are they doing? And why? That's also a video for another day. But until then, just want to say thanks for watching, you guys. This might be the last Project Albatross video for this year. I love this game, and I love everything that I've been doing for it. Learned a ton, but I gotta spend time with my friends and family at some point, right? But yeah, I love y'all.